Hello, this is Miho from Canada. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys doing well with mentally and health wise. So today, life and death. This is something that you don't think about every single day. Occasionally, you encounter, maybe you have recently, death, and that's really hitting to the core of your bottom, because that's something that it really shocking, and it's the reality for every one of us. We come in this world and then we leave sometime. You don't know when, how, where, but that's for sure it's going to happen. So when that death happens, you kind of think to yourself, okay, this is real, and you don't want to accept it, especially for those who are so close to you. It's so sad, and you just can't accept it, because they were there really alive and happy, and all of the sudden just gone. But this is so life changing event that it puts you into the perspective of how you like to live your life too. And people say that towards the end of life, they'll start reviewing their life, and they regret about the things the most would be, is it the failure or the regret? The failure is something that we all afraid of. What if I fail? What if I didn't make it? What if I lose these opportunities or finance or events, whatever that happen? But failure is something that is a stepstone to move you forward. For instance, when you look at the kids who's learning to ride a bike, and they always fall, they lose the balance, maybe they get hurt and cry, they don't want to do it for a few days, but eventually they will get the hang of it. They find the right balance, and then here they go, they start riding the bike, and that's the skill, the lifetime skill for them, right? And we don't call that falling and getting hurt and taking a few days off a failure. We look at it as just a part of process of learning the new skill. For somehow when we get to the adult, this failure is getting so big, and we cannot process it because you're so afraid of being failure or being criticized or you damage something, so you avoid it. But it's just a part of the process. And a friend of mine says, okay, this year's resolution is that I'm going to fail at least 10 times. So that's a good way to look at the failures from different point of view. It's okay, because that's how you learn to go to the next step, next level. Unless you do go through that process, you wouldn't know what's the other side. But the regret is something you just didn't do, even though you wanted to do it. But you just held off because failure, afraid of failing, or afraid of many things, fear, you have doubts, and you just didn't do it. Or you didn't say things that you wanted to say your kids or to your spouse. You just felt like, oh, they know it, or it's just not important. But when you become towards the end of life, you regret that, oh, I wish I had held or hugged, my kids more, or I wish I had spent more time with my kids, or, I wish I hadn't told that to my husband or wife. Okay, so the regret is something much bigger than the failure. And when you're living the life, you might be trying very hard to please yourself or others. And there's so much pressure to behave in a certain ways. You don't want to crush, say, parents' expectations or peers' expectations. So you put yourself, onto this rail where you go so fast and you ignore everything else that might be so much more important to you. And you just keep going until you either crash by health problems or some events happens and they kind of make you forced to realize what you've been doing. And actually just living, being existing in this world is tough. Just to live, just to survive. When I was growing up, I felt like that every single day. It was so painful to live because my parents was so strict about how to behave and how to do things, and I felt this toxic energy in a household, and it's always been like irritated or parents are irritated or angry or yelled at me, or they didn't praise me for anything. It's always pushing towards place where there's nowhere. No matter what I put in, it's not good enough. And then there was no place for me to feel like relaxed. I was always being supervised or being judged or criticized or being complained at, and it was very tight, very toxic air. And maybe a lot part of it's in my head, because one occasion or something, I start to build the world of mine. Maybe when you ask my parents, they had no intention of doing that. Maybe they just a little bit strict, but that's what they taught to be a good parent, so they just did. But for me as a child, being sensitive, I felt like there was no place for me to be comfortable, like I feel just be myself. So I really didn't like the fact that I had to go home every single day. So I stole, I go to convenience store to buy food, eat. I really stole, going home. But when you leave it too late, my parents are gonna be so upset, and then they're gonna preach me, for good hours sometimes, how bad my behavior was, and blah, blah, blah. It continues, and then I feel really bad or worse. And so in order to avoid that, I just go home kind of thing. So just to live, to sustain your sanity is tough, especially so far, because so much pressure, stress, and especially when you're not living who you are because of expectations from others, it's so tough. You don't know who you are anymore, and you're wondering, and you want to cry, but when you do, they might say, see, you're so weak. And so you hold it, and you just don't even want to express how you really feel. And that accumulates in your body or in your soul, and it comes out, when you want to do something, it pulls you back. You want to go forward, but something is holding you down. You want to have this confidence, but it always crushes you down. Or something happens, it doesn't go well, and then you think, see, I'm not competent enough, or I have no self-worth, I'm not good enough, and all those thoughts start to popping up and pull you right down. So you need to release all those pain events, the feelings that you had pain from. This is a good time to just release those, and you could hold on to it. That's your choice, but it's much easier for you to live the life that you feel so comfortable with yourself when you let go of those. And you could try things with much better clarity and a good spirit, because you're much lighter, you're cleaner. It's more like cleansing your old thoughts and feelings that you had from past experience. And that, you think it's bad, I thought it's really bad, but you needed it in order to see how you want to live from now on, because you have this bad experience, so you have exactly what you don't want to be. So it's a good experience to have to create the life that you really want to have. It could be a financial struggle, it could be a relational struggles, it could be the health struggles. But now, because of this, you know what you like to have in the future. So it's a good experience as is, but you don't need to hold on to it. You need to just let go. So this is a good time to cleanse and just letting it go. And you might want to cry because you have those feelings pop up and you just felt so bad that time, but no one understood. No one understood you. No one really cared. It seemed to care about how you felt. So you go back and you be the only one who understand that feelings when you were little, that was lonely, felt so depressed or so despair that that you needed to hear, certain words like, you're doing so well, I'm so proud of you, you're doing so well. And so you go back to that person of you when you're that age, and you just tell and just heal yourself. So this is a good time to heal yourself, and you just let go of all the things or feelings that you don't need. And it might make you cry because that's how you feel, or you might want to yell just because you just held that anger for so long, and that's okay. You just let it be. And when you do that, you become much lighter and cleaner, and you can move forward with the better view of your life. And this is the time that Earth is shifting. When you look at the Earth now, you hear the ocean is cleaner, and the turtles, the number of them are increasing because the people were at the stationary mode, and the Earth is getting cleaned up too, because there were no people disturbing the cycle. So this is like the total global earth-based cleansing time, and you go along with it. It makes you feel much lighter, and you could aim the life that you like to have much faster because you have lots more room to accept what's new to you. And in order to have that, you need to have the clear vision and intuitions that those like aha moment, those are coming from the above, and you need to have that antenna or the pipe cleaned open so that you catch those intuitions or gut feelings, ideas and aha sort of moments, and that will make you go forward to the better version or the best version of your life. So this is the time to really heal yourself and cleanse all the thoughts that you've been holding on. You might not feel like you were holding on to those heaviness of feelings, but you do have something that pain events or sad events, or that something that's uncomfortable to you. So you need to let that go and let that go. And it's okay. When you're feeling like you want to cry, you just let it be. And it cleanses you. And you can shift yourself to the better position. And you could you're the creator of your own future. We call it future, but that's the place you want to be. And you can feel it, what's like to be much better when you're clear. When you have lots of those heaviness in your body, you're so full, tight. So any good information cannot come in, and you're kind of blocking it, you're resisting it. So you need to release that heaviness by just letting it go. And that's okay to move on. And you have the time here on this earth, and you have the end sometime. And when you think about the end, it's good time to think that, did I do everything I wanted to do? Or did I stop myself from doing it just because I was afraid? Because I just couldn't, or I regret, so many things. So, or you rather think like, okay, I've done it all. Like, I really feel like I accomplished a lot of things, and I've learned so much. I grew so much. Now, what's the next step? So it all depends. It's all on your choice. You don't need to rush through it. If you want to remain in where you are, that's okay too, because the time will come, and that's all individuality pace. You don't need to get overwhelmed because others are going fast. Just let them be, because it's a different story. Individual has a different pace and different stories. You have your own pace to learn, and you might accelerate really fast at a certain point, but maybe now you need to feel what you're feeling now, and it's all up to you. But just to think there's a life and death, and you will go through like everyone else, and how you want to end, that's nobody knows, but the end is coming and it's there. So you just keep that in mind somewhere, and to live your life the way you like to live, it's time to shift. And all those experience, that painful experience you might have had in the past, that's done. It's time to be really center yourself and be yourself and kind to yourself, be comfortable with yourself. And when you are filled with those happiness feeling and peace and harmonized in your mind and body and soul, you radiate that really good, comfortable feel. And that will travel to the outside world. So the family start to feel really comfortable, happier, and then it radiates more to the communities and the country and the earth. So individuality is very important to feel, for individual to feel comfortable and happy and peace. And that will create a really good, harmonized, peaceful world. And people who fight or do something bad or even to kill, they have lots of fear inside, lots of unsolved feelings, angers, So if everyone start to feel the peace in their mind and soul, there will be a so beautiful place. It's called Earth to be. So I think we are shifting that way, but it's all up to the individual's level. So hope that you understand how taking care of yourself first is crucial, and that's the only thing you need to do right now. I think you don't need to worry about others. You need to center yourself, you need to heal yourself, to be peaceful and harmonized with yourself, and then be comfortable with who you really are. So that's a kind of trained thought that you need to remind yourself to do it. And I do it all the time. So hopefully this will make your day goes really well and peaceful, and things start moving really well. Sorry it's long, but I love to discuss in this area, and some people think I sound stupid or sounds really doesn't make sense, but let me know how you feel, or I love to help to shift the mindset from negative to the positive way, and to live so comfortably with yourself. And anyone could do this. Everyone has a beautiful qualities, and they are all creator of their own world. So have a great day and see you soon.